Hi there, folks. It's Jonathan Denwood here from WP-Tonic, and in this video, I'm going to be doing an honest review of Divi, classic Divi, and the new version that's going to go public, hopefully, in the beginning of 2025, which is Divi 5. Um, like I say, this is going to be an honest review. I'm not being paid. There's no affiliate links involved in this review. Got a ton of experience at WP-Tonic with Divi and with WordPress in general. I'll be back in a few moments, folks. So I'm coming back, folks. So you're looking at Divi, you're looking for some honest advice on it. Like I say, there's no payment for this video. There's no affiliate links. I'm not pushing anything in this review. So what's my feelings? Well, it's in a transitional period. Obviously, you've got Divi Classic. One of the strengths of Divi was that about 6 to 8 years ago, really your choices if you were looking to be able to move elements around on your WordPress website and not have to employ a developer were limited. There were certain themes on Theme Forest that you could purchase that had a degree of flexibility. They were nothing like the options you now have. They were very limited. They were also utilized short codes. Basically, the ability for somebody who was a DIYer or had some experience with websites that didn't, for minor changes, didn't want to have to employ a developer were quite limited. And then Divi came on the market. Divi had some of their own themes, but then they were one of the first people that allowed third-party theme developers to adopt a kind of added plugin that would give some limited customization, but it enabled Divi to build out quite a large library of themes that they've done themselves and third-party themes. You got to remember this was in the days where they were competing with Studio Press and Genesis, those heady days, and that was more focused at developers. And then they brought out a much better solution, which was Divi 4, and I call it Divi Classic. And that they utilized that to really build their business to the next level. Now, a lot of people really love it. I've never. I think for a time it was a great improvement what they started with, and when you were looking at the competition, which was still Genesis and a number of very popular themes on Theme Forest that develop a page builder, like one of them was Bakery, WP Bakery, which I found to be horrendous, but it got hundreds of thousands of websites running on it. And they brought out Divi, and it did give front-end development where you log in as admin and you go to the front website and you could click in the editor bar and you could edit certain bits. It was still, and it still is, very as a degree of short codes when you want to do certain things, and I hate short codes. They're like little snippets of PHP which you can put on certain areas of the website, and it would then you view it, the front end, and a whole section would just appear. It would give an interface where you could change the colors the fonts you could use. And then it brought out some drag and drop functionality. One of the problems for Divi, even with this better version of it, was that the competition dramatically changed about 6 years ago with the I would call it the next versions of WordPress page editors and website builders. And two that come to mind that really drove this new way of building WordPress websites were Divi Builder and Elementor. Now, Divi Builder is still in business, still popular. Great crew that were behind it. They made some decisions which I think limited their growth. Where Elementor at the beginning got outside investment, and they were very, very aggressive on their pricing. Where Divi Builder, like Divi, are bootstrapped, but their pricing structure limited them. Like Elementor, one of the strengths of Divi is it's been very cost effective. They've priced it at a very competitive level, and that really got them traction. Elementor was similar when they started out. Both Elementor and Divi for their multi-site, not for one individual site, but for multi-site, has become a lot more expensive. But like I say, Divi Builder, Elementor came on the market, and they, in my opinion, they were both a lot better than Divi. But Divi didn't go away because it still had some strengths. And one of its strengths was it had a much bigger library of pre-built themes that worked with Divi. And the other thing that they developed which they had developed earlier and continued, was a whole third-party system of providers that provided plugins, that extended Divi, starter themes from third-party developers, that offered more choices to the Divi community. And also they've always invested time and money in a Divi community. They're very proactive in supporting, answering questions, being very proactive in their own community. And I've never really been part of it, but they have their own kind of community which they've fostered, which a lot of the competition doesn't directly do, or haven't been able to do it that successfully, or rely on third-party influencers, online influencers, to do that type of work for them. So definitely, and I'm talking here about Divi Classic, they've definitely got some weaknesses. I don't think in any shape or form at the end of 2024, at the beginning of 2025, that they, as an editor, they are well behind some of the leading competitors now. And they know this, and this is why they developed Divi 5. And I don't think it's publicly launched. It's in a large public beta where you get invited and you can utilize it. And it has been delayed. It should have been fully public and launched in 2024. And it's had a couple delays, basically. I think in the beginning of 2005, it will eventually go fully public. And they've chosen to go the Gutenberg route. And what do I mean by that? Well, because of all these page builders like Elementor, like Divi, like Divi Builder, there's a half a dozen to a dozen different kind of page builders, Oxygen, Breakdance. There's a number of them out there. And some of them, like Elementor, have hundreds of thousands of websites running on them, or millions of websites. When it comes to Elementor, we're probably talking in the millions. Where we're talking about Divi, we're talking about the hundreds of thousands. But the competition and the limitations of Divi Classic have just grown and grown and grown. And the people behind Divi know this. So they decided that they were going to go build something, and they decided to build it on Gutenberg technology, which comes from the community that support and improve WordPress, which has a privately held company that has a kind of very complicated relationship with WordPress, and that company is called Automatic. And one of the joint founders of WordPress, which was an open source project, has now become, I wouldn't say it's fully open source anymore. It's controlled by one of these joint founders through this company called Automatic. And they knew that the editor, the way of building pages or posts, was getting very limited compared to something like Squarespace or Wix, and they had to do something about it. And they didn't want to rely on third-party solutions because that would give too much power, in their opinion, to these third-party page website builders that work in the WordPress world. So they developed their own solution, which is Gutenberg, and they've been very slowly building it out for the past 5 to 7 years. It's pretty good now, the base technology. It has, I personally wouldn't utilize Gutenberg native, but there's some third-party providers that have built solutions on the core technology. And one of those is Cadence WP, and another one is going to be Divi, and that's Divi 5. So they've taken the core of Gutenberg technology, and then they're building out a more, in their the way they promote it, a more powerful, more sophisticated solution. And I haven't been in the beta group, but I've seen what they are producing, and it does look pretty good. And they do have the experience behind them to be able to build something. I think one of the things that they've been struggling with is that Gutenberg has been a moving target. They every time they've seemed to reach the level, there's been the next upgrade, there's been a dramatic change in the direction of Gutenberg. And this has affected the ability of other, like Cadence WP. What they've decided is they've drawn a line in the sand. And when Gutenberg's brought out an enormous change in direction, people like Cadence said, we're not following that change. We're going to see how it goes, and we're going to keep ours and polish it and improve where we are at the present moment. And we're not going down where you might change again in 6 months. Where I think, and I'm only surmising this, I don't know if this is truly true, is that Divi wants to be in the front line of Gutenberg technology, but this is meant that they've had to change things when Gutenberg has changed. But it still looks pretty good, folks. So we're in this. So dealing with Divi Classic. If you're looking at that, you must be aware, in my opinion, it is now become a subpar editor, WordPress page and website builder, compared to something like Cadence WP, Elementor. I think Beaver Builders also. I wasn't. I think Beaver Builder and Divi are in the same bucket, really. But Elementor, Cadence, there's a half a dozen solutions out there that are clearly Breakdance is one of them, Bricks. There's a half a dozen solutions out there that are much better at building WordPress pages and websites than Divi when it comes to the core technology. Where the strengths are with Divi, even when we're talking about the Divi Classic, is the community, the amount of third-party themes, starter themes, one-page landing pages, additional plugins, and the community, the general community itself is extremely welcoming and powerful. And that's what I would say with the Classic. When it comes to Divi 5, it does look polished, what I've seen, and Gutenberg technology is extremely powerful. I think maybe some of the problems that Divi 5 could have are really nothing to do with them, more to do with these enormous jumps that Gutenberg seems to keep on having, which means that it can become a bit buggy. There is problems with it working with other major plugins. It opens out a whole can of problems, where Cadence have decided to a much slower path, which I agree with. Others probably would not. Well, I think I've given you a good layout. These are my opinions, like I say, but they're my honest opinions. Like I say, I'm not getting any affiliate income from this review. If there's any questions, just put them underneath the video description. I've written a article that goes into everything in more detail. You find the link to that also in the video description. Like I said, got any questions, just put them underneath the video and I will answer them. And if you found this video useful, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. That really helps me and it helps the channel grow, and it'd be much appreciated. I'll see you soon, folks. Bye.